All right, Scapers, grab your pumpkin spice and let's get spooky. It's not even Halloween yet, but old school RuneScape is wasting no time with this week's update.
Yeah.
Starting with a heaping helping of Halloween fun. And get this, it's all happening with no downtime, aside from the usual server reboot, of course.
Which is huge EE for those like deep in a grind. Yeah. Maintaining continuous service during events, especially those as popular as Halloween, demonstrates a real commitment to the player base.
Yeah.
It minimizes disruption and keeps everyone immersed in the experience.
Totally. So let's talk about the star of this spooky show, Marika.
Okay.
She's a pumpkin-loving farmer with a bit of a mystery on her hands. Seems her prize-winning pumpkin portrait of her beloved cat is looking a little off.
Oh, no.
And guess who gets to help her fix it? You got it.
All right.
Now, you might be thinking another year, another fetch quest for event currency.
Right.
But before you click that skip tutorial button, let's talk rewards.
Because what's a RuneScape event without some fresh loot to show off? But beyond the immediate gratification of new gear, these events offer something more valuable in the long run, a shared world and a sense of community progression. It's a chance for everyone to get in on the fun, regardless of their playstyle or experience level.
Absolutely. And this year's rewards are definitely worth showing off. We've got the Scarecrow shirt, perfect for channeling those autumn vibes.
Nice.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
We're getting a customizable pumpkin head.
What?
And listen, the expression options are truly something else. I'm talking surprised, mischievous, even a little bit smug. You know, for those times you just have to let everyone know you snagged that rare drop.
Yeah, I gotta have that.
Right?
And for the ultimate in-personalized spooky decor, how about a customizable scarecrow for your player-owned house? Now you can extend the Halloween spirit beyond Falador and really let your interior decorator shine.
Okay, that scarecrow is dangerously tempting. I'm already picturing a whole crew of them outside my POH, each with a more judgmental expression than the last. You know, just to keep visitors on their toes.
I love it.
But hold up, festive fun isn't the only thing heating up in Geelanor. We've got some spicy combat updates to unpack, specifically for those brave souls taking on the Varlamore, the Rising Darkness bosses Hueycodal and Amoxliatl.
Uh-oh.
Get ready for some new combat achievements.
Now, these achievements are no walk in the park. They're designed to test even the most seasoned scapers, adding a new layer of mastery to these already challenging encounters. Think of them as a proving ground for those who want to go beyond simply defeating the boss. They're about understanding every nuance, exploiting every weakness, and of course, earning bragging rights within the community.
And let me tell you, some of these achievements are seriously hardcore.
Oh yeah.
We're talking require a spreadsheet and military precision levels of hardcore.
Whoa.
Take, for example, the Pillar Lover achievement for Hueycodal.
That one definitely caught my eye. It requires you to finish off Hueycodal during a specific vulnerability phase, tied to those energy pillars in the arena.
Right.
We're not just talking about DPS here. We're talking about understanding, positioning, timing, and potentially even adjusting your gear setup to maximize damage at that crucial moment.
It's going to be fascinating to see how this changes strategies for high-level players going for those top times. And speaking of strategy, let's talk about Totally Shattered, the new Amoxliatl achievement. To snag this one, you'll need to prevent any of her unstable ice shards from shattering during the entire fight.
Talk about a test of awareness and reflexes. It's one thing to dodge those shards. It's a whole other beast to keep track of them while managing everything else that fight throws at you. This could be huge for those who thrive on the no-hit challenge runs.
And of course, no combat update would be complete without a little speedrunning love.
Right?
Both Hueycodal and Amoxliatl have new speedrunning challenges, perfect for those who like to shave seconds off their personal best.
And these aren't just about individual skill. Speedrunning often pushes the boundaries of what we think is possible in Geelanor, leading to discoveries of new strategies and even exploits. It's a constantly evolving metagame within a metagame.
The optimization game is real.
Yeah.
But you know what else is real?
What's that?
The old school team's dedication to listening to player feedback. And this update is packed with quality of life improvements that prove they're paying attention.
It's those small changes that often have the biggest impact on the overall enjoyment of the game. They demonstrate a real understanding of what players experience on a day-to-day basis.
100%. First up, let's talk about the Winter Talk.
Okay.
Last week's overhaul was a welcome change, but there were a few areas where solo players felt left out in the cold, literally.
The reduced points for healing the Pyromancer solo was a common complaint. It made solo runs feel less rewarding compared to group play.
Well, good news, solo scapers. The devs heard you.
Really?
Healing a Pyromancer solo now grants a cool 75 points up from a measly 30. That's more like it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right.
A significant boost that should make solo Wintertot runs much more appealing for those who prefer to brave the cold on their own. But visual clarity was another concern, right?
Absolutely. It was tough to tell whose cold damage was whose, especially in those hectic group situations.
Oh, I can imagine. That lack of clarity could be disastrous, especially when you're trying to time those crucial food drops.
Well, fret no more. They've improved the visuals for cold damage, making it much easier to distinguish your own hit splats from those of other players. No more accidentally sawing out your buddy when you're trying to stay frosty yourself. But let's move on to another area where player feedback has sparked some much-needed changes. The PvP arena. Now, the PvP arena should be a place of quick matches and fierce competition, but lately it's been more like a waiting game gone wrong.
Yeah.
Long queues, opponents not showing up. It's enough to make even the most patient scaper rage quit.
You hit the nail on the head. A smooth and responsive matchmaking system is absolutely critical for a healthy PvP environment. When it falters, it not only frustrates players, but can also discourage participation and lead to an unbalanced playing field.
And nobody wants that in their PvP.
Yep.
So to tackle this issue head-on, the devs have implemented separate matchmaking for lower and higher ranks within the PvP arena.
Okay.
The goal: to create fairer matches and hopefully drastically reduce those queue times.
It's a classic example of divide and conquer in game design. By segmenting the player base based on skill level, the matchmaking system can more effectively pair up opponents who are likely to provide a challenging and rewarding experience.
Exactly. And a win for one part of the game can sometimes mean a slight oversight for another. Am I right?
All too often. But thankfully, it seems like the old school team is on top of it, addressing some of those smaller but equally important details that can make or break a play session.
You know, I love those quality of life improvements. So for anyone who's ever gotten tired of that museum warning in Vrock, you know, the one that reminds you to double check you've deposited everything?
Yeah.
You can finally turn that thing off.
Oh, thank goodness. I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally clicked through that dialog box while trying to manage my overflowing bank at the museum. A small change, but a welcome one for sure.
Right. Sometimes it's the little things.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of little things that can drive you crazy, those constant housebreaking alerts in Civitas have been toned down. Remember those jarring pop-ups?
How could I forget? It was like getting rickrolled by a burglar every time someone tried to sneak into my POH.
Yeah.
Not exactly conducive to a relaxing evening of decorating.
No kidding. Now, instead of a full-blown alarm system, you'll get a more discreet game message, which you can even filter out entirely if you want. Much better.
Nice.
And finally, a shout out to all my Slayer fans out there. Remember those times when a superior Slayer creature would get stuck on a piece of terrain?
Oh, yeah.
Talk about frustrating.
Especially when you're on a roll and every second counts towards that task completion.
Well, rejoice. The devs have ironed out the hitboxes, so those superior beasties will no longer be glitching out on your Slayer grind.
Awesome.
And with that, let's wrap up with a quick look at where the action is this week. The PvP World Rota.
Always a hot topic for those seeking a bit of risk and reward in their RuneScape experience.
For sure. This week, those after high-stakes bounty hunting action can head to World 318 in the UK. Meanwhile, over on World 548 in Germany, it's all about intense, no-holds-barred PvP.
Oh, nice.
And as always, you can find the full rotating list of PvP worlds on the old school RuneScape website.
A testament to the diversity of the PvP community and the team's dedication to providing something for everyone, whether you're a seasoned veteran or a newcomer looking to test your mettle.
So there you have it. Another week, another deep dive into the ever-evolving world of old school RuneScape. We've got spooky events, hardcore achievements, quality of life improvements, and a whole lot of PvP action.
It's a good week.
What will you be tackling first? Let us know. And until next time, happy scaping.